Good morning, everyone. On today's show, it's the end of an awesome streaming week and the end of build-up for the impending Elden Ring DLC this coming Friday. Let's sit back and talk a little bit about everything that happened this week. Let's relax and interact and have some conversation. It's time for the calm before the storm, because Elden Ringers will very shortly be forming the symbol above their heads. All this and more on today's episode of the week ending Level 1 podcast. Alrighty, good morning and welcome to the show, everyone. It is Wednesday, the 19th of June, 2024. I'm DSP. The summer is here. The summer solstice is about to happen. And because of that, things are heating up in more ways than one. First of all, I live in Washington State, and we're actually about to have a heat wave over the weekend. So, as I'm jumping headfirst into all of this new content, it's actually going to be quite warm here. Luckily, I have the air conditioner already pumping, and hopefully I'll be able to keep the temps down. But in addition to that, this Friday, it is time for us to once again partake upon the lands between. It is time for the Golden Order to form a circle of pain, because Shadow of the Erdtree is coming out this Friday, and I will be beginning my playthrough of it. As you all, I'm sure, have heard, it is going to be the lengthiest DLC FromSoft has ever made, and they've made quite a few DLCs that were pretty lengthy. Rumor is 30 to 40 hours of gameplay, and that's why they're charging $40 for it. It's essentially going to be about half the length of Elden Ring. Only from what I'm to understand, way more condensed when it comes to the map, meaning a lot more stuff per square foot, I guess you could say. And very challenging. In fact, it's hilarious. All the reviews are coming out now for it, because, you know, all the journalists had it early. And most reviews are incredibly favorable, okay? Like, 9 out of 10. Eurogamer gave it a 3 out of 5, so 60% rating, stating it was too hard. They were literally, when you read the review, it's hilarious, like tears of whininess. Like, the more I played it, the more I realized it was too much for me. And I remember, it's like, dude, it's fucking Elden Ring. What did you think this was? Sesame Street Adventures? Dude, it's hard. That's the point. If you're not up to the task, then don't fucking play it. Give it to someone else to review. I couldn't believe it that's the review. It's too hard. Anyway, obviously I'm ready. I mean, I did everything I possibly could to prepare for this, right? I went ahead and not only started a second magic run last year, but finished it last month. Went back and, fully completed, including all the optional bosses, even Melania. And this time around, legitimately beat Melania, not by luck, but by planning and learning, right? I truly felt like when I beat Elden Ring this second time, that I essentially mastered it. Like, I did everything from the first part of the game. So now I'm ready for the new adventure. And it's going to be just like every other time that we do this stuff. It's going to be grueling. It's going to be challenging. There's going to be all new stuff thrown at us. There's going to be new elements, new weapons, new bosses, new combat stuff, everything, right? So I'm ready. I know people have been hyped to see me play this for a while. I mean, I'll be honest, for me, I really do feel like in 2024, Shadow of the Erdtree is the biggest thing I'm doing so far this year. There haven't been many or any big game releases. The ones that have come out have kind of fizzled and not been popular, or lived up to the expectations that we all had for them. In a year when some of the most hype stuff I've done is play Street Fighter 6 more, right? Or do little indie game stuff here or there, or play a game with a crab. Yes. That was one of my biggest playthroughs of the year. Obviously, this is going to be a big one. I'm very excited. Hope that you guys are too. And I hope you will join me all day long on Friday as I play Shadow of the Erdtree. In fact, I'm going to purchase it and pre-install it tonight. I'll already be on PS5 to play Street Fighter tonight. So, there you go. All right, so anyway, good stuff. What I'd like to do to start the show is what I would like to do is recap yesterday. I want to give you my initial thoughts on Still Wakes the Deep now that I've played it for around 2.5 hours roughly. And let you know, my initial thoughts before we go back into it. It looks like we'll probably beat it today because from what I'm to understand, it's not very long. Most people are saying it's between 5-6 hours long. So if we play a solid 3 hours today, I'm probably going to beat the game. Okay, so yesterday, Still Wakes the Deep on the first stream. But before that, I covered arguably one of the biggest, most crazy positive Nintendo Directs ever, announcing game after game after game that people did not know about or never expected to be announced. A new Mario and Luigi game in that line of, they've had like Bowser's Inside Story and stuff like that, kind of follows along those plot lines. So another one of those coming out. A new Zelda game that plays like a top-down classic Zelda starring actual Zelda. What? No one saw that one. Re-releases of games such as Donkey Kong Country Returns, right? How about an update on Metroid Prime 4? Yeah, it's actually coming out next year, supposedly. They're aiming for next year. And, of course, one of the biggest announcements for me, the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, featuring all of the classic versus games in one spot, and Punisher, the arcade beat 'em up for some reason. Which is what I've been asking for years, which is what I've been saying I knew would be a sales hit. I don't know why they don't make it, and now they are. So, I'm very excited. After having talked with everyone yesterday, it seems like when this MVC collection comes out, everyone is aiming for me to play it on PC. They're like, if you want to get any kind of longevity out of this thing, don't buy the console versions because it doesn't look like it's cross-platform. Buy it on Steam. More people will be playing it on Steam than anyone else. And I kind of have to agree. Reason being, there's more people playing Street Fighter 6 on PC than any other platform. So because of that, I know that's going to have the biggest fighting game player base if I buy it on Steam, right? So, makes sense. And I'm happy that I have a mini PC that likely, fingers crossed, will be able to run it. I mean, it's basically a classic game suite. It's not anything that you think would be crazy on a processor. I was able to play a game such as Pizza Tower, which is, again, 2D sprites, crazy amount of action, 60 frames. You would think if I could play Pizza Tower, I should be able to play the MVC collection on the mini PC. I really hope so. If it doesn't work, I'm going to get upset because I want to, really utilize the best version, have the most competition. I have a joystick that works on that thing. I just want it, I want for once to be in that crowd of people playing the best version. So I hope that I can do it. Now, I want to give credit where credit is due, because I do feel like I should give credit where credit is due. All right? There was a content creator who championed bringing back Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in particular to the masses. Not only just emulate it on Fightcade that isn't really accessible to a lot of people, but to actually bring in a version of the game that everyone could play, right? So I want to give a shout out to Maximilian Dude today, because a few years ago, he started the free MVC2 movement on social media. It got tons of traction. Everyone was using the hashtag on Twitter and other social media. Everyone was making videos about it at the time, right? I even talked about it on this very show when it happened a few years ago. And then sadly, it got derailed when Arcade 1UP got the rights to MVC2 to make a stupid arcade cabinet with inferior controls, a lag in the visuals, an online play that didn't even materialize until like 6 months after they sold the cabinet. And I hate to say it, a bunch of people in the FGC shilled this cabinet saying, oh, this is free MVC2, when it wasn't. That's not entry-level accessibility for everyone. That's literally selling people an overpriced piece of garbage to make profits for a company and to take a sponsorship deal. So, that's not what the movement was supposed to be about. And a lot of people kind of gave up on it, thinking, well, if Arcade 1UP has the rights, it seems like we're screwed. But no, behind the scenes, this was all coming together, apparently. And now this collection will be coming out by the end of the year. We don't know exactly when, but I am excited. Again, these are... Oh, really? Bono Semo says, the cabinet still doesn't work properly. Online play still is wonky and doesn't work. So imagine spending, you know, $500 to $1,000 to buy that cabinet, and it's a piece of shit. Because some FGC guy told you to because you believed them, right? Unbelievable. Anyway, so I'm excited for this collection. When there's more information on it, I'll be talking about it. I'm actually quite hyped for it. I'm going to do a lot of content in it. Seriously, like what I will do when this comes out, I will play through all of the games, through their arcade modes, with various different characters, explaining the game mechanics to you guys. So you can see how these games play and who the final bosses are and everything. Just like I did many years ago when that Street Fighter collection came out and I played through all the classic Street Fighter 2s, the Alpha games, and Street Fighter 3s. I'm going to do the same thing with this MVC collection. We're going to have an awesome series of streams going through arcade game history, exploring all the Versus series. And then I'm obviously going to play these games online. Many of them are not very competitive, like X-Men isn't, but Marvel Superheroes is. X-Men vs. Street Fighter is. Marvel 1 and 2 are. And Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter is okay, but it's definitely the weakest of that series. But we're going to check them all out. I cannot wait. So, fingers crossed, it'll come out on PC, and then I'll be able to actually play that version. And I'm excited for that coming up later this year. And again, shout out to Maximilian, who actually championed for these games to become accessible, and now they are again. Maybe I'll actually get a rematch against him. You may not realize this, but many, many years ago when that MVC collection was released on consoles, I think it was like 2012, one late night, not recording or anything, I was drinking, and I wanted to play, just do random matches, so I was playing off camera. And it just so happens I matchmaked with Maximilian, and we had a set. It was a good set. He beat me because he was using Strider, who's the best character in the game, and I was laggy because I was drinking. Like, I was so, like, delayed what I was doing, and I didn't record or commentate. It was only his side because he recorded it and basically put it on his channel. And I was like, damn, if I had known I was going to play him and we were going to be doing that, I totally would have taken it way more seriously and not been drinking or anything. That would be awesome to have, like, a throwback set against him all these years later and see how we fare. I mean, I haven't played MVC1 since then. Like, no lie. There's been no version of MVC1 available to play. So it's been like 12 years since I played, but probably the muscle memory will come back. So shout out to Max. Maybe we'll meet in the online arena one day randomly. All right. So, then we started Still Wakes the Deep, the new horror game that released yesterday. And man, let me just tell you something. First of all, I like the visuals. It looks very good on the Xbox Series X. I'm playing at 4K. First game I'm actually playing from the start in 4K resolution. In some parts, it looks photorealistic. Like, the game's visuals are, like, stirring when it comes to, like, you look like you're really on an oil rig in this first-person perspective, you know? Yeah, some of the character models aren't perfect, but it looks quite good. All right? The best way to describe the game, it feels like you are in a 1980s horror movie. It feels like you're in a living, breathing version of The Thing. Did you ever see the movie The Thing? That's kind of what it feels like. The only difference is the monsters are not trying to hide in plain sight by impersonate other people, but it's the same kind of body horror. And the weird part is, I didn't know that's what the game was. I actually thought it was going to be like demons or a supernatural twist, but no, it's just like mutations and weird body stuff that's gross but scary at the same time. Great action sequences, like chase sequences where you have to escape, or sneaking sequences. FYI, you know, we're 2.5+ hours in. There's no combat. It's one of those horror games where you just have to survive and avoid being detected and killed, because, you know, it's basically instant death if you run into any of these mutation monsters. So I like it. I think it's creepy and scary. I'm actually really enjoying the atmosphere of the game itself. By the way, the entire cast is Scottish, which is awesome because you never have that in video games ever. Can you name another video game with a Scottish cast? So it's cool they actually went unique with this one and did something a little different, and I think it's paying off because it makes it feel like a unique situation, right? LK The Wash says, I've read the reason it looks so good because it uses Unreal Engine 5. There you go. So it's a great visual experience. Gameplay, if you like that survival style horror and chases and stuff, you're going to like it. And it's just getting better. Like, the further I get in, the creepier it's getting. I can't wait to pick it up and resume it today. We may beat it, because again, it's not a lengthy game. And I heard it's 5 to 6 hours long. We're 2.5 hours in, but today I'm going to play more. I shouldn't have as many interruptions as I did yesterday. So we should get around 3 hours. Maybe, hopefully we'll beat it, because I certainly don't want to have to do another stream of it for like 20 minutes. But I guess we'll see how far we get today. And go from there. And you know what? I will say this too. It's actually refreshing to have a horror game without having to look for optional collectibles and logs. Because isn't it just like every single horror game you have to scour the environment for a hidden piece of paper that has a clue that might have something to do with the plot? And if you miss the paper, oh, you missed critical backstory. I mean, every single game's been having this in it since Resident Evil, the originals, right? This one doesn't do that. This one, you just play it. Like, you literally just play it and enjoy it. You're along for the ride. You don't have to worry about hours of side content exploration busy work. They're not worried about padding the length of their game. Just play it and enjoy it. And I actually like that. I'm finding it refreshing to not have to be this kind of detective scouring every piece of the game, okay? So, good stuff. Can't wait to continue it today. Hope that you'll stick around after today's podcast in order to see the end, see where it's going, because I'm sure it's going to get even more crazy over the course of today's stream. So, good stuff there. Now, tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, Street Fighter 6 returns, more Zangief action. It's going to be casual play until I feel it's comfortable enough to do ranked. I don't know if that will be tonight or not. I'm not going to promise it, because then people will get upset if I don't do it. But Monday's stream was superb. Like, Monday, I started off really poor, bad execution, bad timing, and then I kind of recovered. I started doing new strategies and things that I had never done before, and they were working well. I mean, shit, I was doing Drive Rush cold level 3 grab super, right? Like, out of nowhere, and it was working. Holy shit, that's awesome. Like, that's crazy high-level Zangief play. So, I can't wait for more tonight. I hope you'll join me for that on the late stream. And there's not going to be Street Fighter again for a while. Almost a week. Because Elden Ring is taking priority over the weekend. It's going to be Monday night after that when I go back to Street Fighter. And then after that, lots of Street Fighter, because Bison will release that Wednesday. Okay? So, FYI, if you like Street Fighter, come by tonight and enjoy, because there's no Friday night fights this week. Okay? Cool. I'm off for streaming tomorrow. I know that many of you will be lost. You'll have no idea what to do with your lives. But I'm not here streaming all day. I'm very sorry about that. But I do need some time for myself and my family. Okay? So, please, what you can do is get caught up on all the stuff I've done this week. I mean, there's just things everywhere. On this channel, we've had the continuation of Fallout 4, going through the entire Far Harbor DLC and starting Nuka World. We've got tons of Street Fighter 6 gameplay featuring Lily and then featuring Zangief. And I did really good with Zangief. And then we've got, obviously, the start of Still Wakes the Deep. We got a lot of Stardew Valley. I did 3 streams of Stardew Valley, which were really fun streams. Got into the game, learned a lot about it, and having great chill experiences with the audience. So this channel, loaded with content. Over on DSP Reacts, we had not only me live reacting recently to the Summer Game Fest and Xbox events, but a really great React show from this last Sunday. Tons of variety. I'm actually noticing way more views on the React videos lately. I'm happy for that. I think the React stuff is decently good sometimes, and sometimes it's great. Like, there's a video from Sunday where I'm cracking up the entire video, 30 minutes, because we're watching hilarious clips. People love it, and the views are actually getting really high on it. And I'm like, that's good. I'm happy for that. So I hope you'll check out the React stuff from time to time. It's pretty good, and it's actually been pretty good recently. And then on DSP Throwback, we've got the continuation of the playthroughs of L.A. Noire Remastered. We've got Fallout 3 Remastered. And the Rise of Nightmares Retro React, where I'm reacting to this Rise of Nightmares playthrough on Connect from 2011. It's a horrible game. It really plays awfully, but it's hilarious to watch John and I from back in the day trying to use Connect motion controls to get this goddamn thing to work. So, check all the stuff out. Get caught up on it. Have a good time. Please leave comments on the videos, because what I've noticed, particularly, is that comments help, and I don't get a lot. And it kind of sucks. I wish that there was a lot more comments on the videos. And I don't mean letting toxic idiots spew nonsense on the videos. I mean intelligent comments from people who are actually watching and have feedback. So please leave comments on the videos if you enjoy it. Please like a video if you're enjoying it as well. Okay. When I return on Friday, we'll have a stacked podcast talking about my day off, game news, and of course, the Elden Ring hype. And then all day long on Friday on the first and second streams, it will be me playing the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Now, with the newly upgraded setup. Better visuals, right, than ever before. I'm debating, should I attempt to play Elden Ring in 4K? I don't know if it'll work. If I do 4K, I'm afraid the game might chug or be a lower frame rate. Obviously, I want a high frame rate playing the game. So it may have to be 1080p. I'm not sure, okay? I have to think about it. But right now, my PS5 is set up 1080p, 120 hertz, variable refresh rate for Street Fighter. That's how I have it set by default for Street Fighter. So maybe that's what I should roll with in Elden Ring, just to get the absolute best response time. Or maybe I should up it to 4K and see what frame rate it runs at. Unless, if it's going to chug at 4K, then I'm not going to do it, obviously. So I guess we got to think about it. Let me know what you think. Maybe you guys will know, because you guys have probably played it more than me at the higher resolution. It's only now that I have the capability of doing this, so I have to decide what quality to play the game at. But anyway, regardless, it's going to look the best videos I've ever put out for FromSoft. It's going to be the best frame rate, the best detail, no blurriness and pixelization anymore because my bitrate has been increased. It's going to look amazing. I cannot wait to broadcast the DLC for you guys because it's going to look so good. All right? All right, cool. And that's all day. So first and second stream, that's why there's no Friday night fights on Friday, because I'm playing Elden Ring all day long. Okay? Then on Saturday, more Elden Ring DLC, and then Saturday night, the next stream of Stardew Valley Chill. And then Sunday will be React Day as usual. We'll do the clip show on DSP Reacts and the Retro React on DSP Throwback. Although it's a special DSP Throwback night, we're going to finish up Rise of Nightmares, which only has about an hour left. And then we're going to swap over, and we're going to do Dark Souls for the second half, because it just makes sense to react to Dark Souls when I'm playing Elden Ring, right? So we're going to do that. And then Monday, it'll be more Elden Ring and Street Fighter 6. And then Tuesday will be Elden Ring and Stardew Valley. And then Wednesday of next week is all day long the release of M. Bison in Street Fighter 6, which will be epic to see Bison return to the franchise. I'm very excited because, you know, M. Bison is a character I've used over the years in various Street Fighter games. I mean, he's one of my favorite characters in Street Fighter 2, and he's probably my main in Street Fighter or in the Alpha series. So, good stuff, and I hope that you guys will join me for that all week long. It's going to be a great week, okay? Now, outside of that, there's one other thing to talk about. Yesterday, you guys seem to start to want to push for a new event, and I was like, oh, really? Because the last special event that we did was back in May, late May, and it was the Indies Marathon. And if you remember, that's when we played Pizza Tower, Stardew Valley, Noita, I think it's called, and Hades 2. And based on that, we actually have done future additional content of Hades 2, and we're going to go back to that when the game is finished. And now we're doing Stardew Valley, so we actually got some good stuff out of there. That's been very good. But now people are like, well, we want another event. And I'm like, well, what should I do? Right? I wonder, what should I do in regards to an event? I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, we could do some kind of a summertime event, you know, but when would it be? And some people are like, dude, July 4th. July 4th is like not even 3 weeks away. And I'm going to be doing Elden Ring nonstop for the next 2 weeks. So I don't think that we should be planning the event that soon. I would say the earliest it should be is mid to late July. But what would we do? Like, what would you guys like to see as the event? Right? I don't know. But we did a summertime kind of bash last year where I called it like the cookout or something. And I had food that my wife had made, homemade food for the meal. And we did various different things. But I guess the question is, what would you like? Oh, by the way, so my audience, I don't know what this means. 1080p Elden Ring with ray tracing looks better. It adds pleasing shadows. Dungeons look much cooler with ray tracing. And I'm assuming it's going to run at a very smooth 60 frames at 1080p, right? So maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll do 1080p, enable ray tracing, but I'll do the highest hertz available. If it's 120, great. Whatever the highest refresh rate is, VRR, and see how that works. Summer barbecue blast. Eat some good smoked meats. Summer rageathon. See? Let's start talking about this. I'm down for whatever. Whatever you guys want. I mean, if it's a summertime event, I'm probably going to want to booze it up. I'm probably going to want to have some drinks during it. You know, some good food, some drinks, chill vibes. If you remember, that's what we did last summer, and it was very successful because I said, this is not anything serious. It's not like we have a set amount of games we have to play. Let's just relax and sit back and have some drinks and food and play some stuff and chill, hang out, right? I'd be down for that. But we got to figure out what we want to do during it. Should there be some Street Fighter? Should there be some Stardew Valley chill? Should we do something special? You know, maybe by then I definitely would have beaten Shadow of the Erdtree. So maybe start a second run of Shadow of the Erdtree with a gimmick this time or something. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Maybe something specifically on the mini PC that we wouldn't normally do during normal streaming. So that way there's a reason to do it special because we're doing the marathon. I don't know. What do you think? It went really well last year doing it like that. So I feel like the same kind of summertime thing would really work. Oh, I don't have live chat open. Hold on. I have it top chat. I hate this stupid YouTube top chat live chat thing. Just give me live chat. I hate that sometimes you miss messages because you're in top chat. No AI summary today. I do have an update on that, guys. There's a few different things YouTube is actually testing all at once that I've noticed. One is this AI summary thing where you'll go to chat and if you're refreshing it, you'll sometimes see an AI summary at the top of chat, summarizing what people are talking about in the chat. They also are now finally, after all this time, testing the multi-thumbnail feature, but it's very, very limited. Like, for example, yesterday, one of my editors who makes some thumbnails for me was making thumbnails for videos and said, you have the multi-thumbnail feature now. I said, I do? And I went to look myself, and it wasn't there. And then they went to check, and it also wasn't there. But they said, but here's the screen capture. I actually screen captured to show you. It was there previously. So it sounds like they're rolling it out slowly, and it's going to, just like this AI summary thing. Some people have it, some people don't. Some people have it for a minute that's gone, right? So what it is, and this is, this is probably how Mr. Beast does it. Because if you haven't noticed, a lot of people have mentioned this. Mr. Beast tends to change his thumbnails. But the reason is because he's probably had this feature for a while. When you upload a new video to YouTube and you select the thumbnail for it, you have an option to have 3 different thumbnails. Okay? So you put up all 3, and then based on who watches the video longer or who has a higher click-through rate on the video will auto-select the most popular thumbnail. So it could be like a face like this, a face like this, or a face like this. And those 3 faces, because, that's all YouTubers do, is they make fucking stupid faces in their thumbnails. Based on those 3 faces, YouTube will look which one is more popular, which thumbnail is getting more attention, and then it would make that the thumbnail after a certain test period of time. So, yeah, I'm curious how that would work. I don't think it would really work for me, because I'm probably not going to be making 100 thumbnails to test videos. It's kind of stupid, don't you think? But, it's a nice thing to have features. It would be nice if I could have the same features as everybody else. The AI summary has been hit or miss for sure. I don't know how well this thumbnail feature will work, but anyway, so that was out. I just wanted to mention that. Anyway, back to the marathon ideas. I don't know what you guys tell me. What would you like to see? Like if we were to do a summertime marathon event, right? Excuse me. What would you guys like? Huh? No, we're doing Stardew. Were you not listening to the schedule? We're doing Stardew on nights. We're doing Stardew Saturday night. And we're doing Stardew Tuesday night next week. We're doing 2 nights of Stardew next week, even though we're doing Elden Ring. The only day I'm playing Elden Ring all day is Friday. Saturday is Stardew and Tuesday is Stardew. Just like Monday will be Street Fighter 6 and Wednesday will be Street Fighter 6. Listen. Come on, listen. You're on a podcast. What's the point of having it open if you're not listening to it? You're not watching the podcast for me and my looks. All right? Let's be honest here. Most of you probably listen with your eyes closed so you don't have to vomit profusely all over your devices as you watch, right? Come on. Barbecue feasting with Phil, retro games, and some drinks. You know what's coming out in July? The Nintendo World Championships for Switch, which is a full challenge run game. it's a bunch of classic NES games with all these timed and score challenges built in. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we could wager. Haha. People could say, hey, I think Phil will be able to do this challenge. People won't be able to do this challenge, right? Right? I think that would be neat. Booze it up, do some challenge runs, have some barbecue. Maybe toss in a few matches of Street Fighter or something for fun, right? Yeah, that'd be nice. July 27th is Walk on Stilts Day. Walk on stilts. So get boozed up, walk on stilts through my office, fall over, break all the equipment, go to the hospital. That sounds like a plan. Of course. Why not? By the way, once I upgrade my PC to cats, once I do the migration, and I get the Stream Deck, I'm going to be able to do one button thing, like we'll do one button push, and then it's Raul Julia. Of course! Yes, I want to do that. I want to have things like that, little memes that I can hit. Remember, originally when I started doing direct capture 10 years ago, all right, I wanted to have the Adam Sandler, you blew it! And I had it set up, but I always forgot to do it because it was like I had to fuck around to get it to play. Imagine I just press one button, I get to do it. Whoop! That'd be perfect. We'll see. We'll see. We're doing that migration in between late July and mid-August. I'm going to take some time away when there's not any real game releases out. We're done with the Elden Ring DLC. Things are calming down, and that's when I'm going to do that migration. Jordan, what are you talking about? Jordan, unmute your stream. Oh. I literally just answered this. He just super chatted the same question again. I just answered it. Anyway. All right. Anyway, how about this? Let's do some shout outs. All right. Let's see what's on everyone's mind. Let's get some conversation going. All right. And based on where that leads us, we'll determine what we do with the rest of the show. Today's a much laid back day. There's no news today. So I just wanted to kind of hang out with everyone today. Okay. So we start off with Dark Souls Master, our first super chatter of the day, who says, summer drink and steak-a-thon, praise be the sun. Well, sadly, I wouldn't be able to do a steak-a-thon. I have to really cut back on red meat. I haven't, last almost decade now, since I've known I had this blood condition. But I might maybe get some barbecue, order from a place, maybe. Get some barbecue. I don't know if I would do chicken or something else. We'll see. And then Jordan did a super chat talking about Stardew again, which I already answered. So, thanks, guys, for the super chats so far. And then I received a $10 tip from Tarantula MS, who says, hey, Phil, what's going on, Tarantula? It's good to have you here today. Welcome back to the streams. Thank you for being the very first tipper of the day. Enjoy this remastered Blanca animation, which I had to remake because for some reason all my tip animations deleted, and then after I remade them all, they all reappeared again. But as a result, I colored all the text and everything on the current animations. I actually added some custom text for other tip animations. So there you go. Thank you very much, Tarantula MS. First tip of the day. Appreciate that. Lord Prince Albert has done a super chat. He says, how about we go to 672's house, we do a pool party, get drunk, take our shirts off, whip the sausages out, and have a good time? Well. Well. What would you call that? 672's old-time country cock-out? There you go. Welcome to 672's backyard country cock-out. Here we go. Come on. Very nice. Thank you, Lord Prince Albert, for the super chat. I appreciate that. All right. Some people are into that kind of stuff, you know. Well, What you do in the comfort of your own home, in your own privacy, is fine. You know, just don't involve me in it. Very good. All right. So, I've done all the shout-outs so far. Thank you guys for the early silliness. What's on everyone's mind today? Seriously, what is on everyone's mind? What would you like to talk about? Are there any topics this week that I missed out on, that I'm not aware of, that I need to be informed on? Maximum Turbo says, did you play DC versus Mortal Kombat? Never played it. That was the era when, before Mortal Kombat rebooted with Mortal Kombat 9, I skipped all Mortal Kombat content. Because starting with 4, those games fell the fuck off competitively, and all I cared about was competitive stuff. I mean, Mortal Kombat was known as the home console party game, right? Which is fine, but competitive players didn't give a shit about it. It was never played in tournaments. It was kind of ignored. Again, it wasn't until MK9 that it returned in a competitive nature to the scene. So I really wasn't aware of what was going on. I never played the DC one, DC crossover one. Of course, Metroid Prime 4 is on my radar. I want to play it. Although I've only played Metroid Prime 1, right? I never played 2 or 3. And I own the collection, but I don't know how I would play it. It's not on Switch, right? Or is it on Switch? I don't think so. Yes, I'm playing FVC Collection. I had a whole segment about it this morning. Someone wasn't paying attention. Yes, excited for Still Wakes the Deep finishing today, Dark Galbach. Great game so far. Monty Mole, nobody cares about European football. At least I don't, so you don't have to talk about it on my stream. Game Boy, how are you? Good to see you here today. Do I think they'll make a Capcom versus SNK collection? Well, it would be a very small collection. There were only 2 games. And the first one's atrociously bad. Like, CVS 1 is just a bad game. It's not competitively fun. CVS 2 was way, way, way better. So there you go. But if they re-release CVS 2 as like a cheap game, sure, that would make sense. And of course, everyone's hoping for CVS 3 now that we got Terry and Maya as guest characters in Street Fighter 6. Yeah, I don't know when the summer solstice takes place exactly. You're saying the summer solstice won't be until 4:50 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So technically, tomorrow it begins summer, but the first full day of summer would be Friday here in the United States. Okay, I always thought it was the 21st. So, am I gonna try some speedrunning challenges on Switch? I already said that could be an idea. Is that I get that Nintendo World Championships game and we actually play it during this summer event. It could be part of it. Is I do those challenges and see how I do at them. It could be pretty fun. Logie, yes, I'm aware they are making a Thing remaster. We talked about that the other day. I never played the original Thing game. It's from the early 2000s. So I have no idea what it plays like or whatever. But I guess it's kind of cool. It's going to be remastered. I don't know if it's something you guys would be interested in seeing me play because I don't know what the original even is. What am I most excited about from the Nintendo reveal of new games? From the Nintendo side of things, I mean, there's kind of equal interest. First of all, the new Zelda game looks intriguing. I don't know how it's going to play with Zelda summoning things to fight for her. That's kind of weird. And obviously, Metroid Prime 4 is great. The Mario and Luigi game, I never played any of those. What is it called? Was it called like Superstar Saga or something like that? I'm not sure. But I never played any of them. So I don't know if they'd be something you guys would be interested in seeing me play. Or quite frankly, if it's just something that I should skip, you know? We already have Luigi's Mansion 2 HD that's apparently either coming out or out soon, but no one's really talking about it because Elden Ring DLC is completely overshadowing it. Same thing with that System Shock remake that came out. Maybe people want to see me do that over the summer, so I might do that at some point. But as for the Nintendo stuff, yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know if you guys would like to see me do that Mario and Luigi stuff. But some of those announcements were pretty good. Not all of them. A lot of those I'm not interested in. A lot of RPG announcements and stuff. But, you know, I also saw some footage of the Dragon Quest III remake. It looks good. It's like Dragon Quest with much better graphics. And I love Dragon Quest. The only problem is Dragon Quest III looks like it's coming out around the same time as Metaphor. And it's like, there's no way I can do 2 JRPGs at the same time. It's not going to work. So it might be a situation where you have to kind of decide which one to play. I've never played any of the Chivalry games, Dwayne, so I don't know anything about them. Oh, really? Anso Kamaru said the new game from Danganronpa devs. Visual novel plus tower defense RPG looks incredible and was hyped for that. You know, Danganronpa, listen. Here's the thing with Danganronpa, all right? I'm happy I played them because that was a whole, like, genre, the Japanese visual novel style game. I didn't even know it kind of existed. You know, I had played Phoenix Wright, but I didn't know that there was, like, this genre of, like, murder investigation, you know, anime-ish, drama stuff. I didn't know. I'm happy that I played them. I just don't know if I would ever play another one. They're too long. There's too much, like, just blah, 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 and not really much going on. And I think for a while, people liked to see me play them because it was something so different from the other stuff that I did. But now, today, being a more interactive streamer, how would those streams even work? Wouldn't they be boring? I feel like they would be. So a game that's a hybrid between tower defense, which I also find boring, and visual novel, I don't know if we would go and play those games again. Goldfish, I just want to make myself abundantly clear because Goldfish says you should play Metaphor because you haven't played anything in that style in a long time. 100% I want to play Metaphor. It looks like Persona, but in a fantasy medieval style with Japanese anime style visuals. I think it looks great. The problem is Atlas going to destroy my channel again? Remember, the reason that Persona 5 got all screwed up was Atlas. I was playing Persona 5 as a new release on this channel many years ago, going by all of the criteria that they laid out. They said, if you want to stream and record our game and upload a playthrough, you have to follow all these criteria. Don't go past this date in the game before a certain date. Don't show this and this. I didn't do any of that. I literally didn't do any of that. I followed every one of their rules, and they still hit me with copyright strikes. And I was like, dude, that pissed me off. I don't want to get hit with copyright strikes for something I didn't do. And by the way, when you get hit with copyright strikes now, if you get hit with multiple ones, you can't stream, you can't do anything. So imagine me not being able to do stuff on this channel because of false strikes, because Atlas doesn't know what they're doing. Now, I will say this. I confirmed with YouTube support that if a channel ever gets erroneously suspended for copyright strikes and I'm in the process of disputing them, I can still stream on my other channels. I already confirmed that with them 100%, and I archived the conversation as evidence. They said you could do that. The only way that you can't is if you're ban evading. Like, let's say, for example, you have violated strongly YouTube's terms of service and they ban a channel, and then you try to stream on another channel. That's called ban evading. But if it's copyright issues, you're okay. I've already cleared it with YouTube. But the thing is, do I want a chance not being able to stream on this channel, and now I have to use, like, the throwback channel to stream on for a month or two until the copyrights get cleared up? No. So it's a huge liability, and I don't know if I'm willing to take it. Really, I don't know if I'm willing to take that chance that I stream Metaphor, and then Atlas Japan just does what they want and rampantly hits me with strikes for no reason. So I don't know if I can play it or not. Goldfish says, I think things are better now. It's been 7 years since Persona 5, and I see streamers playing Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. Okay, but the question is, again, what kind of streamers? Are those streamers who are approved to do it? Did they have to jump through hoops to do it? Or did they just be able to do it with no problem at all? Also, what's the size of those streamers? Because perhaps Atlas just isn't aware of them. I'm just saying, right? Did I ever finish Danganronpa 3? I did all 3 of the Danganronpa games. All 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3 I completed. Yes. I did 1, 2, and 3. I never did the on-rail shooter thing. That one I didn't do. I did 1, 2, and 3. All 3 of the narrative games. Pure Solo, thank you for 37 months as a member. Are you sticking with the magic build for Elden Ring DLC? I swear you guys are pulling my leg. Do you know how much I've answered this question? I've answered this question probably about 20 times in the last few days. I'll answer it again. I'm going to use the build that I had at the end of my second run in Elden Ring to start the DLC. All right? Once we start unlocking new stuff, like new weapons and things, if there's something I'm interested in, I will go respec to try that stuff out. I have a ton of those larval tears. I didn't respec once during my run, so I have probably like 10, 15 of them, I would think. You know, that I could do respecs during the course of the DLC. I know for a fact the DLC has some unique weapons, right? We saw that the Kung Fu one, where you're like punching and doing flying kicks, and that's nothing like any of the combat so far in Elden Ring. So obviously that could be something cool to really try out, right? I don't want to stick with it. Like, I don't want magic build to just be exactly the same the entire run, and that's how I do the whole DLC. Yeah, I want to try new things. I've heard there's 100 new weapons and all kinds of stuff. So obviously I'm going to experiment with new things. Probably new spells too, right? Probably new things to try. So I'm going to be mixing it up. No, I'm not going to just do the plain build that I did the entire DLC. I'm definitely going to try new stuff. Keep in mind, I'm in no rush to finish the DLC either. Like, this is the big thing right now. This is going to be the biggest release I've played this year. Everything else has been underwhelming. So for me, like, I'm going to take my time with it and really enjoying it, hopefully, right? So if we want to mess with new builds and things, we could. Okay. Well, Double J, when I get my Stream Deck, I will have to code in answers. So when someone's asked the same question the 10th time, I'll just push the button and it'll play the answer automatically so I don't have to repeat myself. There you go. Okay. All right, everyone. What else is on your mind? What else is on everyone's mind? This is not a shitty horror game. Do not call it a shitty horror game, or I will call you a shitty chatter. How dare you insult the game? The Xbox 360 store is closing in July. Maybe a send-off of unplayed Xbox 360 games. Well, I don't have my Xbox 360. Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, I don't even have my Xbox One hooked up. I don't have any of that stuff. You know? So, no, I wouldn't be able to do it. Everything now is on the current console. So there's no reason to have the old hardware anymore. You know? I think I have an Xbox 360 in the closet. I don't even know which one would have my hard drive from the end of life when I retired it during the Xbox One era. Like, I understand what you're saying, but everyone's converted over to the modern console. I have too. The Xbox 360 store is just that, the store on Xbox 360. All those games will still be available to play. Well, most of them, not all of them, but some of them will be available to play on Xbox One and Xbox Series X. But I think the only games that are gone are those early Xbox arcade games, right? Remember how they had Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting on Xbox Arcade? Probably all those old like Bejeweled, not Bejeweled. What was it? It was a different, like, there was a Jewel puzzle game or something. All those earlier downloadable games, right? That never had a physical release. Those will be the ones that get lost to time. But I don't know if there'll be any significant games that didn't have more modern versions made. I mean, I understand what you're saying. That would be kind of cool to do a nostalgic trip down memory lane and check out the Xbox 360 store one last time, except you have to actually get the hardware, and it's buried. So I know I must have a functional Xbox 360 somewhere in my closet. I don't know where the hard drive would be that has all my shit on it, like the profile and everything, because that's all been, it's ancient history at this point. I mean, when was the last time I played Xbox 360? Honestly, like 7 years ago or something like that, probably. 360 era was amazing. I agree. It was very, very, it was the first era where you could, like, jump into an online environment and just enjoy yourself. The voice chat was easy and accessible to get into and was actually of good quality on that console, as opposed to PS3, where the voice chat sounded atrociously bad because Bluetooth was so early. It was like broken up shit. It was really terrible. All that social aspect of the avatars, the messaging system, the achievements for the very first time, right, was an Xbox 360 thing. And then being able to jump onto the Xbox Live store and see a big cacophony of games available, mostly little more digestible, downloadable experiences. Remember, Pinball Arcade game? That was awesome, where you put all these simulated pinball games. I remember that. And, just so many. Remember the game I played with Rambo the first day that we streamed ever? It was a virtual arcade sim where you would build arcades over time, various different kinds of games in it, and then, time would evolve and change. You would have to get different games in your arcade and stuff like that. That was neat. But it was a different time, It really was. I'm curious what games are exclusive to 360 that aren't on the other consoles. Is there a list somewhere of like the games that you can't play anywhere else? Yeah, the store goes completely down end of July, I believe. You basically have like a month left to download anything you want onto your 360, and then after that, it's just gone, right? Like you can't download anymore. You basically have to get any digital games you want on your hard drive to play them. But like I said, most of those games that had any kind of prominent fan bases or player bases already have more modern versions, right? Do I think if Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake is a hit, they'll make other ones like 1? Yes, I do. Do I think a DLC like Shadow of the Erdtree should be eligible for Game of the Year since it's so long? Well, let's find out. When we play it, I'll judge for that. I will. Quite frankly, this year, if you ask me right now, what are the best games that you've played for 2024? You want to know my answer? Here. Let's genuinely, honestly go through and take a look. All right? So here's my playlist. Let's refresh, actually. Refresh my playlist. Okay? So out of the new releases that I have played this year, all right? What are my favorite games of the year? Let's take a look. Well, I would say Tekken 8 is up there. Tekken 8 is a great fighting game, for sure. Okay? Needs recognition. Another Crab's Treasure. I'm liking Hades too, but we had to suspend the playthrough because you guys said to wait until the game is fully out. I liked Crow Country as a retro throwback game. I felt that was pretty good. And right now we're gonna play more Still Wakes the Deep, but literally that's it, guys. Like I have nothing else to say about gaming this year. There are like no games in my head that are Game of the Year contenders at all. Now, the good news is we did just see at Summer Game Fest and Xbox Game Showcase and now at Nintendo Direct that there's going to be a significant amount of new games coming out between now and the end of the year that could be Game of the Year contenders, right? We hope. But this year has been one of the most disappointing, underwhelming years for games. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which I would like to say would have been a Game of the Year contender, I don't think was as good as the last Like a Dragon. So it's good, but it's just not as good as the previous outing, and therefore it's kind of disappointing to me. Other games, what about Pal World and Helldivers? Well, what about them? They're small, digestible experiences. Pal World, we played a few streams, it already fizzled out. Helldivers 2, after 20 hours, it got boring. Are those Game of the Year contenders for me? No. They're good games, they're fun to play quick, but that's not what I think of when I think Game of the Year lasting influence kind of game. Right? Dragon's Dogma 2, I hate to say, was just not a very good game. It came out performing very poorly on the consoles, right? Frame rate and everything choppy, not good. And it just played way too similarly and samey to the first game. Didn't feel like it was Dragon's Dogma 2. It felt like this was just Dragon's Dogma remastered 10 years later. So I didn't even care. I got bored of it, right? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We're in the second area of the game and people are already bored, right? Already, like not showing up, bored, disengaged. That's not a Game of the Year contender, guys. It's just not. Those are not games that are retaining any interest or any, you know what I mean? Like, no, they're underwhelming, underperforming, disappointing games to me. That's not good. Dead Island went from $15 to 75 cents. Yeah, well, that's probably because there's going to be no online component, and the whole point of Dead Island is online co-op. So if there's no online component, why are you ever going to play it? It's terrible solo, right? Huh? Cosmo says, under your stream, I'm seeing comments from the last video I watched before coming to you live. This is an error. Oh, it must be a new YouTube error. So you're seeing a stream of comments from a different video under this stream? That's not good. Yeah, just, I mean, this year, there really hasn't been many great games. So, you know, could Shadow of the Erdtree end up being the best thing this year? Yeah. And if it is, I'll tell you it is. And yeah, if it's long enough to feel like even it's a $40 adventure, but it lasts 30 to 40 hours, that's a game, Dan. That's a game. And I will put it in my Game of the Year countdown if it's worthy. I will. Juvilis, thank you so much for 3 months as a member, asking, have you thought about trying PC VR gaming? No. Reason being, there's 2 reasons. Number 1, I have not heard of any real games in VR gaming in the last 5 years that are really like killer app style games that would be interested in playing. For example, have you ever heard of a VR game being nominated for Game of the Year anywhere at all? Even Half-Life Alyx didn't get that distinction, right? Most of these VR games just seem to be more gimmicky or kind of disposable experiences. They're fun while they last, but a lot of them don't last, and a lot of them are just, oh, the only reason it's good is because it's VR, as opposed to it's actually a really great game, and it happens to be on VR. I think for VR to really like explode, you need to have a must-play game. There has not been a single must-play VR game yet. The ones that are must-plays end up having non-VR versions, right? So, and that's number 1. Number 2, I wouldn't be able to do VR right now anyway, because my PC or whatever, it's not compatible. It's 10 years old. All right, so that's number 2. I wouldn't be able to do it regardless. Okay. Number 3, if I were to do VR gameplay, I would not be able to interact with my stream chat, right? How on earth would I be keeping track of what people are saying, doing shout outs for contributions, playing animations? Like, the whole point of me being an interactive streamer gets negated if I have this big stupid headset on and all I'm doing is staring at a VR environment, you know? Like, I played VR when PSVR 1 released many years ago. I tried it. I liked it for like 2 months, and then I never used it ever again. So, yeah, I don't really see the point. Okay. Anything else, guys? What else would you like to chat about today? Wukong looks like it'll be up there. Do you think so? Wukong. No, it's Black. What is it called? What's the full name of the goddamn game? I can't remember what it's called. I forgot. It's the Journey to the West game. I can't remember the name of it. Black Myth. Wukong Black Myth. That's what it's called. Oh, it's confusing. I hope it's good. Really, I hope it's good. Hong Kong Fooey, #1 super guy. Hong Kong Fooey quicker than a naked eye. Wow. Lady Charisma says on PC there are ways to view and manage chat in your hand. On your hand when in VR. I use it all the time. Yeah, but you understand, I don't, excuse me. I don't exactly have the same setup as everybody else. As you know, I can't have that stuff automated. I manually do quite a lot of things. And I don't think I'd be able to do that with the VR headset. I would definitely be missing shout outs for tips and stuff like that. If you didn't get the Hong Kong Fooey reference, that was actually a cartoon back in the day. I remember. It's Hanna-Barbera cartoon, right? Yeah, I think it was on Nickelodeon I used to watch it. Hong Kong Phooey, the #1 super guy. Hong Kong Phooey, he's quicker than the naked eye. And then it was like dum ba dum ba dum bum bum ba dum boom 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 boom. Hong Kong Phooey, something something something. I don't remember. They're all the same. How about that game, Wukong? It's actually called Wukong. It's like, how do you make a game titled Wukong and you don't think people are going to just call it Wu-Tang, right? I mean, you can't make that name. You would never make a game called Wukong. That just means they had absolutely no cultural knowledge of anything outside of their own little bubble to name their game Wukong. The whole game, where is ODB? Where are the RZA? Where's the Shizza? Where's Redman? Where's Method Man? Where is everyone? Where are they? What a misnomer of a game. Where's the Ghostface Killer? Okay, anyway. All right, what do you guys want to talk about? No, Clyde, I don't know what that name means. I don't know why you're asking me either. Why don't you tell me instead of asking me a question that obviously is trying to catch me in something? Do I have forests that I can walk in near me? Yeah, but I don't want to get ticks and stuff, so I don't do that. Would I play Dead by Daylight with viewers or in general? I played Dead by Daylight when it was first released on the Xbox One many years ago. I actually really liked it. The only bummer was that it didn't run very well. It was kind of a choppy, low frame rate. But I loved the gameplay loop, and I got excited for it, and I actually played it for a bit. And people got tired of it. They said, it's a little boring to watch you play it. So then, years later, people asked me, once again, would I play it? And I said, all right. And I played it, and this time it ran better. It was actually like smooth 60 frames. They had definitely improved the game. They had added all these new killers that were all licensed killers from horror movies. I was like, that's kind of neat that they got all this licensing. And so I played it again. I liked it. I thought it was good. But once again, people kind of got bored with it. And we're like, nah, it's the gameplay loop's not that interesting. And I was like, all right, well, whatever. So I basically, 2 completely different times in the last 7-8 years or whatever, I've played the game, actually really liked it, and the audience told me that it was kind of boring and not to play it more, so I didn't. Every once in a while, it gets brought back for like a Halloween marathon or something like that, but it's been a while now, so. As a non-American, I'm interested, how afraid are Americans of ticks and you? Of ticks and me? Well, some Americans are afraid of ticks, but most Americans are afraid of me. So, very, like, terrified. Like, when they hear the name Ticks, they go, oh, I gotta be careful. When they hear the name Darkside Phil, they go, oh! They run for the hills. They fucking burst out their windows and run down the street. No, I did never watch the show The Wire on HBO. I heard that it was a good show, but I've never watched it. What's up, Shia? He says, ready for more oil rig terror and Scottish accents today. Sounds good. Me too. Did I ever watch the Tick cartoon? I watched a little bit of it. It was on Saturday mornings along with a lot of the other Fox Kids shows back in the day. It was just so weird because she's like, all right, today I'm going to watch X-Men, this super interesting, serious superhero show, followed by The Tick, which is just like a comedy show. It's like, oh, so different. And they tried to group them together, too, because they were like, oh, they're both comic books. Like, they're not even close to being the same, you know? Oh, my goodness. Ugh. Am I going to check out Flintlock? Probably not. I'd never even heard of that game until they showed it at Summer Game Fest. And after looking at it, it doesn't really appeal to me that much. I mean, it is a Game Pass game, right? At the very least, maybe we do one stream of it and see what it is just to say, hey, what is this? and then say, okay, if it's not good, fuck it, drop it, right? I like Warframe. I only played Warframe once ever. When the when the PlayStation 4 was first released, a ton of the launch games were free-to-play digital games. I played games like DC Universe Online, as well as Warframe, and I got the appeal of them, but I never was interested in them. So I played Warframe like one stream. I was like, okay, I get it. I played DC Universe Online once. I was like, all right, I got it. And I just never played them ever again, so. What is Final Fantasy Dawn Trail? Never heard of it. What crossover character would I like to see in Street Fighter 6 now that we have Mai and Terry? Wait, are you insinuating just SNK? Like what SNK crossover character? Oh, how about the Ikari Warriors? Bring in Ralph and Clark to fight as Street Fighter characters against the Street Fighter cast. That'd be interesting. I actually think that Ralph and Clark would work really well as Street Fighter characters. I could even see some Drive Rush combos right now, right? I really could. Pretty good. If I look tired, it's because my allergies are affecting me pretty bad right now. Last few days, I've had a lot of itchiness of the eyes, sneezing, itchiness of the nose, swelling of the throat. It's all allergy shit. Allergy season has hit really bad here, and I'm being affected by it. Yes, I'm absolutely playing the MVC collection, Nico. We talked about it earlier on the show. I really hope that I can get the PC version and play it on my mini PC, because if so, that would be amazing. I get the best version, the most comp, no input delay. It's going to run really well, hopefully. See. No, I've never seen that they modded a PS5 with water cooling. What are my favorite activities to do when I'm streaming? Let's see. Talking with my audience, playing video games, and having fun interactions and conversations. There you go. And also farting profusely into this chair, but you never hear it because I have such great mic settings. Oh, the question was, what are my favorite activities to do when I'm not streaming? Oops, I misread that. When I'm not streaming, hanging out with my wife, watching various different kinds of shows. Like right now, we're actually watching BattleBots Fight Nights on Max. And it's really good. We actually really like the BattleBot show. I think we're in this 2019 season right now. We're really enjoying that. We do enjoy watching various different streamers play various different games. We were watching one person play Ghost of Tsushima on PC, which recently released. We were watching at one point someone play God of War Ragnarok. When of course when the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC comes out, after I play it, we'll probably watch a few different people play it to see what their runs and perspectives were like. Let's see what else. Oh, we like listening to relaxing music. We have different kinds of relaxing music, like jazz and other stuff that we like to listen to at night. Relax. Obviously, we like spending time with Jasper Kitty, playing with him and petting him and stuff like that. Watch it. We have a lot of wildlife that's in our backyard now because it's now summer. Well, it's about to be summertime. We put a little suet block out there in a cage and a bunch of like nuts in bowls and stuff. And so we get squirrels. We get tons of different kinds of birds that come by, and we really enjoy watching them. So here you go. Oh, he says, those are relaxing things. I mean, activities like shopping, softball, physical activities. We don't go shopping because we don't have money to go shopping. Like, what do you mean by shopping? I mean, we go grocery shopping. We don't have time to go out and just spend a lot of money on shopping. Physical activities, we don't have a lot of time to do physical activities. I work 6 days a week full time, and the one day off that I get, I'm out to do the errands. If we have any appointments, we do it all in 1 day a week. So the things you're describing don't exist because we just don't have time for them. We're too busy. No, I'm not watching House of the Dragon. I don't care about House of the Dragon. If I didn't care about Game of Thrones a few seasons in, I definitely don't care about House of the Dragon, right? Black Sky says, did the Wolverine figure you had in your background fall and break or something? No. I sold it for $50,000. I sold the figure for 50 grand to a detractor. And now that detractor snuggles the Wolverine figure and sleeps with it in bed every night. That's what I heard. Right next to the full body pillow of me that they have too, right? We have Helix Vacation says, are you just watching random people when you watch playthroughs? Or do you have some go-to people? We have a few different people we alternate between depending on the game style. Like there's a couple people we would watch for like a horror game. There's a couple people we would watch for a certain style of game. You know what I mean? Like there's one or two people we always watch. There's a couple people we always watch like FromSoft stuff from. But like I said, I would never tell you who it is because sadly, if I did that, trolls would probably go harass these people. So we're never going to mention it. Ugh. I've never seen Cobra Kai, no. The city's had a loading screen. There you go. Stupid allergies, man. And now my throat's tickling me. These goddamn allergies. They suck. They really fuck. They suck. They fucking suck. Allergies fuck and suck. God damn it. It really is annoying. Hate it. I've not spoken to Brian about MVC Collection. I don't even know if Brian's interested in versus games or not. I have no clue if he's ever even touched them. You know, my experience, I met Brian within the last decade, right? After I basically had stopped playing versus games. I remember back in the day we played a few other fighting games. I think we played a little bit of Street Fighter V. I think we did some other games like either Mortal Kombat or Injustice at one point, right? And then we had done Destiny 2 and we did Apex Legends. So I have no clue if he's ever played the Versus series or is interested in it. No, I'm not preloaded the Elden Ring DLC. After today's stream's end, I will buy it and install it. I did check out The Boys. I watched the first 3 episodes of The Boys last week. Although I find although I find the show entertaining, this show is far too political for me to review. I've made my decision. It's just the writers of the show have 100% decided that this political ideology is correct and this political ideology is completely wrong, and we will now have characters on various sides of our show representing those sides of politics. And I don't like that. Like, there's a difference between, like, it's a parody, but it's not serious, versus this is obviously a message that they're trying to say. And I don't like that. So I'm not going to review it, because if I do, I'm just going to upset people because it's going to be political. So I've decided not to review The Boys. And that's solely on the basis that they made it too political this season, in my opinion. Ugh. All right, give me a second to blow my nose now because I sneezed. Ugh. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Stupid allergies. Okay. Oh, look, someone coming in with 10 sock accounts. Goodbye. Anyway. So, guys, what else would you like to talk about? Final Q&A before we adjourn the show and we get back into Still Wakes the Deep, which I'm excited for. Do I ever play games on my own for enjoyment, or do I get burned out? I don't have time. When I'm in here 6 days a week, full-time streaming, okay? The absolute last thing that I would want to do when I step out of this office is play more games. The one thing I would do is if my wife is playing a game, I will watch her play. and I will help her or comment on it. Sometimes if she gets stuck on a part, I would jump in and help her beat a certain part, especially if it's a game that I've already played. Oh my god, excuse me. But no, like here's the thing. I love video games. They're my hobby. I have passion for them, correct? I mean, it's been my job now for 13 plus years to cover them, right? However, I do so much of it in here that once I'm out of here, I need to kind of draw a line and say when I'm out of the office, that's when I do other things with my life, right? And I think that it works very well to have that separation, work and personal. If it was like play video games all day in here, then leave the office and play more video games, I probably would get so burnt out on playing video games that I wouldn't get enjoyment out of it anymore, right? I just don't think that it would work, right? So, no, I really don't do any gaming outside of what you see on streams. That is the extent of me playing video games. Plus, excuse me. Plus, when I'm out of here, I want to spend time with my wife. I don't want to be sitting playing video games by myself, right? So, there you go. Generation Z, I have no idea what platform Stardew Valley is available on. I'm playing it on PC, but I don't know where else it's available. I think I need to see if my air conditioner filter needs a cleaning because this air coming in feels like it's full of pollen. Hold on. Let's do a live test. Pretty dirty. Pretty dang dirty. Look at that. And I just cleaned it not even a month ago. Look how dirty it is. You see that? You see those lines? That's the clean spot. Everything else is dirty. So that's why I got to go clean this right now. That's why I have such bad allergies. I got to go clean it right now. It's disgusting. We've had so much pollen in the last few weeks. This thing is full of pollen. So I'll clean it. I'll be right back. And just like that, here's the night and day difference. Look at that. So I'm going to put that back into the air conditioner. Hopefully that helps me. I was wondering why the last few days I was like, oh God, the allergies are really getting to me. Because this thing was clogged with pollen. All right, very nice. Ugh. That was gross, man. I was like, no wonder I'm so bad. Okay. I received a $2 tip from Dan the Man. Thank you, Dan the Man, for a $2 tip this morning on the show. I appreciate that. Okay, any last minute questions or anything, guys, or shall we wrap up the show? What do you think? What is Kat currently playing? Not much. She basically gave up on Destiny 2. She got to the point where it's like the only way she would have fun is if she had been kind of like playing all along or playing with other people, like friends, and she's not doing that. So basically, she played Destiny 2 for like a week and liked some of the content and then realized how hard it got, and she's like, nah, fuck this. And she dropped it. She's really not playing anything. I think she's considering actually going back and playing Fallout New Vegas because she never played any of the DLCs, and I told her, like Big Empty, Lonesome Road, and the other one, not Dead Money, but the other 3 DLCs are all quite good, and they're probably not that expensive right now. So I told her maybe you want to do something like that, like play New Vegas and then get some DLCs for it or something. So she may do that. She did do a Fallout 4 run. Yes, she did. She did a full Fallout 4 run after the show came out. You know, she beat that ages ago. More Stardew Valley. Yeah, it's coming this weekend, Generation Z. I'm loving the streams, loving the game. Very chill game. It's not for everyone. It's not a mainstream audience style game. It's for a small group of those who really like it, definitely like it, and support it. That's for sure. I've never been to a Texas Roadhouse. Someone just asked that the other day. Literally the same question. So why are you asking me that same question? Something's going on where there's like stupid memeable questions from somewhere else and you keep asking me the same questions. Oh no, Kat does not play high action games. She doesn't play the Devil May Cries. She doesn't play nothing like that. No. No, 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 no. Absolutely. Probably the closest thing to that would be like God of War. She's played those, but no. She's not into the super high octane, crazy amount of action style games. Would I consider doing a retro reaction to Marvel vs. Capcom to celebrate Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection? What do you mean by retro reaction? Exactly. What do you mean? You want me to do a retro react stream what? To my old MVC content? I don't know how many people would care for that. You know. The reason people like to watch me do the retro reacts is because we're watching old playthroughs a lot of people haven't seen. Or it's a classic playthrough people have seen. But we get to actually do it together, like live, because I wasn't live streaming back then. And you get to compare my old commentary style to my new commentary style, right? And we get to kind of reminisce. Like for fighting game stuff, it's just me playing a fighting game. Like what is there to even comment on, right? What on earth is NWC? Nintendo World Championships? Yes, Kat does like Persona games. She liked Persona 4 and 5. She tried 3 but couldn't get into it. She hated the dungeon. You know how that dungeon that's endless, that goes on forever, is super repetitive and boring? It killed it for her. She was liking the story, but she was like, oh my god, do we have to keep going through this dungeon the whole game? I was like, yeah, it's like the whole game you're stuck there. She's like, I can't play this game. She's like, I'm going to fall asleep. It sucks because she's like, she likes 4 and 5 better when they took that shit out. That endless dungeon. What's up, Jade? How you doing? Spawn Killer, 37 months as a member. Would you react to LA Noire gameplay? Yes. Now that we've got a ton of LA Noire up on the channel, 15 plus parts, right? They're all half an hour each. Absolutely, we could eventually do a retro react to the LA Noire playthrough. I don't see why not. WPGaming, I will be doing the same. I will be ordering and preloading the Elden Ring DLC tonight after the Street Fighter stream. Easy Steve, how you doing? He says, hype for Still Wakes the Deep. Me too. I hope that you guys will stick around after the podcast ends for Still Wakes the Deep. We're right in the middle of an interesting segment. It's a great game. Creepy, fun, scary. Shall we adjourn? Are we good? We had a nice laid-back stream today, which I liked. We didn't have anything major to do. We just kind of chatted it up for a while, which is fine. It's good to do that every once in a while. As opposed to, when we come back Friday from break, I'll probably have a ton to talk about, Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready, Jade. I'm ready for horror and to chill. Absolutely. All right. Shall we adjourn? I guess we should adjourn. All right, guys. Thank you so much. When I come back on Friday, it will be summer. That is correct. It will. Oh, what was that? When I come back on Friday, it will be the summertime here in the United States. Likely, the temperatures will be way warmer, and things will certainly be heating up with the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. I hope that you have a great day tomorrow, a safe one. Perhaps you'll be doing some activities like going to the beach, swimming, right? Cooking out, whatever it may be doing that you're doing there. I wish you to be safe. Be sure to wear sunblock. Sunblock is very important. And I'll see you all on Friday for the start of an amazing week of content of Shadow of the Erdtree plus M. Bison in Street Fighter 6. It's going to be pretty exciting. I will see you then.